What is up, YouTube? It's me, Keltick the Casual, and today we are going to be doing another Cernunnos video. Today I'm going to be covering how to play him in the jungle role for Conquest. This video is only going to focus on him as a jungler, and as such I will link to the other video I did which breaks down his kit and how I have been playing him in more of an ADC role. But this video will cover how I play him in the jungle as well as the build that I have been using for him in the jungle. So if you haven't seen that other video yet, I will reference it probably a little bit as we go, so go watch that right now and then come back and watch this one to see how you do him in the jungle. So let's dive right into what we should be trying to do as Cernunnos in the jungle. His clear for buffs and the lane is actually pretty decent. What I've been doing is whenever I've been playing in the jungle, I will start with Bluestone and Bumbas. And so I'll be leaving my boots in base for my first item to build. It's a standard jungle start for those that like to use abilities. And I have been using Cernunnos as an ability-based assassin with ranged autos. Having the ranged autos is really nice, but if you remember his passive, it's a melee cleave. This is what makes his buff camp taking really smooth, and it's really nice. But outside of simply clearing buffs, there's a lot more that a jungler has to do. So now let's move on and talk about ganking potential. Now, as for the specific numbers, I don't know off the top of my head, but both his 2 and his 3 give a ton of base damage and scale incredibly well. So what I have been doing is I've been maxing out my third ability first, so I've been maxing out that charge, and then I've been playing incredibly aggressive with it. So you can see whenever I get a clean gank off of, say, the Chronos or another squishy mage that I know doesn't have great escape, I'm going into lane, rooting them in place with my second ability, and then after landing a couple autos, I'm charging through them to deal, again, a lot of damage to either finish them off or get them to within a critical point where they're within 1 or 2 autos of dying. And all of those, so that 2 being the root and the 3 being the charge, all happen before level 5. So you have a lot of gank potential really early on. Once you hit level 5, your gank potential goes up even more, because with your ult and the 2-second hard CC with the polymorph, you suddenly become a major threat. You're going to go into a lane, again, rooting first is always what I have been doing unless they don't have an escape. But if you hit the root first, or if you see that their escape is used, using the ult to get them into that boar, then rooting, then charging, is going to deal massive amounts of damage because all 3 of these abilities scale really well. So if you use his abilities correctly, you become a very large threat. You can burst someone down incredibly well. And then as you shift from the early game of I want to ram someone in the head and root them, you then shift into more of a I'm still going to want to ram someone down, but now I also want to have some power behind my auto attack. So you're going to move from that ability-based person to more of an auto attack based person while you still use your abilities to spice up your life. Now, the build that I have been using so far, and it's pretty much the same build that I showed in the other video, is going to be a build that lets you fill both of those characteristics. So you're going to be able to have a lot of power from your abilities, but you're also going to be able to hit quite hard with your auto attacks, assuming that you're using your first ability correctly and using those 4 different stages like a passive. Now, to start, I go into the Warrior Tabby. It gives a lot of power. So you start, and it's a good first power spike. Then I go into Oboe, and this is pretty much the only attack speed item. The reason is the same I gave in the last video. Especially in the jungle role, you don't want a ton of attack speed. You want to be bursty. So what I've been doing is building Oboe so that it helps my jungle clears, because again, every 4 auto attacks, it creates a little chain lightning. This chain lightning is really decent damage, and it can catch some people off guard as well as help you clear camps faster. Now as we move into the bulk of the build, the order of the items depends on what you're fighting. If you have a healer on the other team, so in this case Aphrodite, or if you have a Chang'e or something like that, you want to build brawlers next, because when you're rooting, you're going to be stopping their healing, and then when you charge through, you're going to reapply that passive. All of those are good things to have, so you want to make sure that you build the anti-heal early to shut down those healers earlier on. After I build the brawlers, I go into Jotuns for the CDR. You could build Jotuns first if there's no healer, but I do like both of these items regardless because brawlers gives pen and Jotuns gives CDR. That's why I build both of those items. Then after that, I go into Titan's Bane for penetration. If you find that your AD carry is not performing up to par, then you can go into Executioner, which gives some extra attack speed so you can become a bit more of the all damage carry with your attacks. Then the last item I will be building on this guy whenever I'm jungling is Crusher. It's a good little niche item that I find he gets a lot of benefit out of. So in Season 4, Crusher changed so that every time you hit an enemy god with an auto attack, so then this only occurs once every 5 seconds, but it reduces a second off of all of your abilities that are currently on cooldown. This is huge because your root comes up faster, your charge comes up faster, which is important when you want to lock down people. So to recap, you can use your passive to happily and easily clear jungle camps. You want to use your root and your charge early game so that you are messing with the enemy team and killing them off. It gives a lot of burst damage. You want to build the build that is actually on screen right now is the build that I've been describing. It's a good build for jungle. It gives you a lot of power. It lets your auto attacks hit often and lets them hit hard. That's what you want to do as this ranged jungler. Don't be afraid to fight in melee range. The charge only works if you're going to be fearless. If you are playing into a comp that is a lot more lockdown potential, or you think you're going to die a lot, then you can by all means upgrade that second ability first to be safer, but that third ability packs a lot harder of a punch. And that is all the time I have for this video. If you enjoyed watching today, leave a like on the video. If you want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, this is Keltick the Casual, signing off.